Hey guys, I'm Chlo, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Let's jump into your music.
Yes.
5 minutes, your latest single.
I'm kind of just coming down from it. I think it's been like such an amazing release. It was so cool to see people's reaction to it because I've just been working on so much music, and just to finally put something out was like awesome. But at the moment, I'm working on another single to lead up to a future project. Okay. So I'm super excited about that.
The fact that you're releasing singles instead of like an EP or an album, do you feel that's helping you a lot more than if you were to release an EP or album? I know a lot of like the EDM artists prefer the single releases.
Yes. I mean, I'm not against or with the single release, to be honest with you. I'm just a very picky person, especially when it comes to like releasing music. Right. So I feel like putting out a single is a lot easier for me. Like if I had to sit down and do like a project like I'm doing now, it's taking me forever to like really finalize the songs and choose things that like really show, you know, my music and like something that I'm really proud of. So I think the single thing is kind of working right now, but I'm ready to put out a project.
Now, the fact that you are really picky with your music, how is it that you were able to create a song in 5 minutes and release it? Like that doesn't sound like something a picky person would do.
It's kind of funny though. Everybody's like, "Did you write it in 5 minutes?" I'm like, maybe.
Say yes.
Yeah. I'm like, no, but I am. Yes, the song actually was like a really quick writing process. I felt like the concept was there. Yeah. So I had such a clear vision for the song. So it was very easy to write about. And the person did me so dirty. So I was like, what are we going to say? Like, I was like, how am I going to do this? But
so technically they're paying your bills.
Yes.
Like that's what it is.
Thank you. Thank you for doing me wrong. Yeah. At this point.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So tell me a little bit about your writing process, because music is kind of new to you. You weren't a musician from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So how did you, one, learn how to write? And two, how did you learn how to vocalize?
It's really funny. I grew up in musical theater and like kind of just church choir, I guess, and just learned pitch and sound from those things. I feel like those really helped me like with ear training and like understanding what's flat and sharp and, you know, that type of thing. So I was really thankful for having that background because it would have been so hard to like know if I'm flat or sharp. Right. But songwriting was actually something that really just came about. I had no intention. I wanted to be the next Broadway star. So it was never something like you have to write your own songs and put them out and like a whole thing. So when I got into writing, I've always loved writing. I've always loved English and just doing that type of thing. And I'd written poems like a lot when I was younger. Okay,
so that definitely helped.
Which definitely helped. Like I would find myself like writing random things and rhymes, and I've always been very music like I loved music and just being around it, and just doing crazy stuff with music. So I found that songwriting kind of just came about, and I've just really defined like the way I like to do it and found things that work for me and things that don't.
Now, it's funny because with music, like you can't really put an age on it. Like you could tell someone you're 16, 17 years old and they're gonna be like, okay, you're immature. But when it comes to writing, you can be 16, 17 years old and write the most creative lyrics in the world. Crazy. How do you perfect that?
I mean, it's honestly something that I feel like I've really struggled with, just because it's hard to go into a room and say you're 16 years old and have them really take you seriously.
Do you hide your age when you come into a studio
I never tell producers my age. Because they right away think you're a kid. Right. And that's really hard when you're wanting to have this as a profession and you take it really seriously. Like it's like a full-time job, constantly in the studio, constantly working. So when I can prove to them that I can write like some dope melodies or like I have good concepts or ideas, they can then take me seriously after I have like a clear direction. So I think definitely just being very like driven and like having that behind me, I think people find to be very attractive and just noteworthy more than anything. So
it seems like you've obviously been doing a lot of great things with the music because you're working with Warner Chappell writing stuff. You're working with a lot of different producers. So tell me, like the first time you went into the studio with a new producer, like what was that experience like? Because I know when writers like share their work with someone else, it's kind of weird.
Like, hi. I'm like, do you like, well, and it's so scary because you always have like this awkward listening party of like all of the past songs you've done in like the last 3 months, and and you're always just sitting there like, so this is my first one, and like, and awkward silence. Here's the second one. Like, just kind of like make it happen. So I always pray to God. I'm like, please just like allow them to like one. No, but it is nerve wracking, to be honest with you. Like, you never know if it's going to work. And I've really found that I love working with boys. I honestly prefer writing with boys and producing with boys.
What is it that like really draws your attention?
I feel like sometimes, I don't want to say this as like a broad statement, but I feel like at times, like when I go in with other girl songwriters or girl producers, it's almost like there's like a tension. Okay. And I feel like with guys, it's just a lot more laid back and chill. I don't feel as like nervous, and I'm like, hello, like I'm Chlo Subia. Like it's a lot more laid back and chill. So I feel like I've always been a person to like go with guys. I don't have like a ton of girlfriends. Like, I love hanging out with guys. I'm just more of a, I don't know. I'm more drawn to guys, but not even that way. Like, just friendly. It's easier to get along with guys. So I feel like that's definitely, figuring that out has really like weeded out like people that I wouldn't want to work with. Right. Yeah.
Now with the songs that you released this year, what was it? 3 or 4 of them, right?
Yeah. 3.
Were all of them with co-writers, or were any of them all by yourself?
Wrong Side of Love was mostly written by myself, just because it was about a breakup. It was just like super personal, and it was at a point where I was kind of over like the crying stuff and like all that. I was like, I hate him. So I was like, I need to write this for me. Like, this is girl empowerment moment. Like, I need this. So I feel like that was mostly me, but I did have a producer in the room that would like throw out some ideas. His name Drew Scott. And he helped me with like some visions, but like I definitely was like, I know what I want to say. I know what I want to do. So I feel like Wrong Side of Love is the one that I wrote mostly by myself out of the ones I have out now. But yeah, I find myself getting really comfortable in the songwriting world now, especially because I am working with Warner and working with just a different level of producers. So I find myself very easily coming up with ideas and concepts in a room. So it's been really cool to see that, just not being nervous to write alone.
Yeah, you just go in like another day.
Exactly. Like, I'm like, okay, what do I want? And it's awesome not writing for yourself. Like, that's so fun when you don't have any boundaries. You don't have to be like, who's going to hear it? Like, am I going to offend someone? It's so great. You can say whatever you want. It's amazing.
But when you're not writing for yourself, like, I'm sure there's moments where you kind of don't want to let go of that song, or you regret giving that song away. Like,
yes, and when you pitch songs, it's so hard because, like, you'll have an artist that loves it, and you're like, I love it too. So like you selfishly don't want them to love it, but it's a great song and it's like a great thing. So you're like, okay, fine, like I'll give it to you. But yeah, it's definitely hard. It's like letting go of another thing. It's just like, okay, you can do it. Just write another one. It's fine. Just get over it. You're good.
Now, what is your focus right now? Your focus is music, your music, and writing for other people, or are you trying to balance the two?
Yeah, at the moment I feel like it's kind of a balance, and also just kind of working with like the PR side of things, and social media is like its own beast, but definitely balancing writing for others and writing for myself. It has been a struggle, honestly, figuring out what songs like I want to keep personally, because you have like the producers who are like, this would sell great with this person, and you know, this would be great for her or him or whatever. So it's like hard to find that moment where you're like, okay, I want to keep this one, because you know, you don't want to like say I'm not gonna do it, whatever. So but you definitely do get used to getting rid of songs, like slowly but surely. I've definitely gotten used to it. It's been hard, but I'm getting better with it. Now,
aside from being like busy in the studio, you also got a chance to do a little touring with like the high school, what was it, High School Nation? Yes. What is that like? Because I've met a lot of artists that basically started from those kind of tours, and then right after that, they went on to something bigger. What was that experience like for you? And was that like the first time that you've gone on tour?
That is the first time I have gone on tour, which was honestly, I feel like one of the best like ways I could have started like with the whole touring life, just because it's so tough. Like, it's such a grind. Like, you're going in front of high school students every day with like a couple thousand kids, and it can be a tough crowd. Like, I
think that's the toughest crowd, but at the same time, you can win them over quickly.
Exactly. Like, so it's like,
it's a double-edged sword.
How's it gonna be today? So you're like trying to rile them up, and some of them aren't having it. Some of them are like twerking, and I'm like, okay, this is a lot. So I mean,
this is a ballad. This is not a twerk song.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, mid-tempo, but we're gonna make it work. Yes, no, definitely. But I definitely think I learned so much from that, just because it was a tough crowd some days, a great crowd some days. You really got the highs and the lows. But yes, I love touring. Like having that experience was almost a bad thing because I just wish I were on tour.
That's all you want.
Yes, that's all I want to do. I only want to tour everywhere.
So what's next for you now? Are you gonna go back into the studio, work on this upcoming project, or are you gonna try and like figure out a new tour, go out, do some shows, maybe some LA love? I don't know.
No, I think we're definitely trying to do a little bit of everything. We definitely are finding different performance opportunities in the LA area, so that's super exciting because I love performing. Performing live is like why I fell in love with the whole thing. So definitely looking into performance opportunities, and then just as we said, just perfecting a project and just calling it my own and like being really proud of it and super behind it, and yeah, just kind of getting everything fine-tuned, but really excited for everything to come out.
Nice. Now to close this off, what is the hardest thing about learning to vocalize?
For Vocalize, I think finding your own sound, like trying not to sound like somebody else, or just really kind of capitalizing on the different things that your voice does naturally. Right. So like I have like a lower speaking voice, and I have like a lower, like kind of more raspy, like I don't even want to say raspy, just kind of, I've always loved more of the R&B sound. So I've always wanted to veer towards that. So I think just really like loving what you're putting out and believing in your own vocals and like not trying to overexert yourself. Like if you can't belt, don't belt. Like if you can't sing low, don't sing low. You know what I mean? Like really just do it for yourself and like you're to yourself. And I think that's definitely the way that people find their own sound and just like what you're known for. You know what I mean? You definitely have a
right. You gotta have that niche.
Exactly.
Something that everybody will always know it's you.
Exactly. Yeah. You'll always know it's Beyonce. You'll always know it's Michael Jackson. Like just the little things that they do, just to have those things. I feel like that's one of the hardest things to find. But once you find it, like just run with it. Like use that for the better.